Hey millionaires! When it comes to winning the lottery, only one thing is certain. Everyone has the same chance of hitting the jackpot. That means even young people win big sometimes. But is that always a good thing? We're going to look at the biggest and youngest lottery winners who are just 25 years old or less. Do you think their wealth helped them have a great life? We'll soon find out. We'll count down to the biggest winner at number 1, so be sure to watch until the end. Number 17. Tracy Macon. When 16-year-old Tracy Macon checked her lottery ticket in 1998, she was pretty happy to find that she'd won 10 euros. At least, that's what she thought she won. After all, supermarket workers from Belfast, Ireland don't win big, especially at such a young age, right? Maybe not, but Tracy was the exception. A closer look revealed that she hadn't just won 10 euros, but 1 million, or about $1.1 million. Even at such a young age, she spent her money wisely. It's all wrapped up in investments, and she works a comfortable office job today. Number 16. Leah Sumray. Having money doesn't give you the right to do anything you want. Leah Sumray from England won £1 million, about $1.1 million, at the age of 21, and she promptly hopped on a plane for a luxury holiday. Unfortunately, she was supposed to be testifying against a man accused of sexual assault. It was a pretty important trial, but she obviously thought a holiday was even more important. When she returned to England, she was arrested at the airport and spent 14 days in prison. Number 15. Jane Park. Jane Park decided she'd try out playing the lottery for the first time ever at 17. Somehow, even though it was her first try, she actually won. Her £1 million win gave her all the expensive cars, holidays, and clothes she could have wished for, but it also brought a lot of misfortune. The threats of physical violence and extortion have obviously taken their toll because she's since tried to sue the lottery for ruining her life. Number 14. Robert Salo. Not all young lottery winners squander their wealth. Robert Salo, who was 18 at the time of his win, was just a week away from his high school graduation when he won a $2 win-for-life ticket, giving him an incredible prize of $1,000 every week for the rest of his life. But Robert wasn't interested in a life of luxury. He wanted to become an electrical engineer, but couldn't pay for his studies before winning the lottery. His new wealth helped him follow that dream. Number 13. Charlie Lagarde. Robert isn't the only 18-year-old to win a prize that made sure he was wealthy for his entire adult life. Charlie Lagarde from Canada chose to celebrate her 18th birthday by purchasing her first ever lottery ticket. It was the best decision she ever made. She now gets $1,000 Canadian every week for the rest of her life. Her first big purchase? An expensive camera to help her achieve her dream of becoming a National Geographic photographer. Number 12. Luke Pittard. Luke Pittard stands out amongst the other winners on this list. He was just 25 years old when he won a life-changing £1.3 million jackpot. That's over $1.7 million today. The first thing he did is exactly what any of us would do. He quit his job flipping burgers at McDonald's. But it's his next move that was surprising. Just 18 months after his big win, he was back at McDonald's flipping those burgers again. And not because he'd blown all his money either. According to him, he just liked working there. That's not something you hear every day. Our next winner on this list definitely comes as contrast to Luke. Let's move on. Number 11. Collie Rogers. 16-year-old Collie Rogers came from a broken home and lived in foster care when she suddenly won £1.5 million, about $2.5 million today. To Collie, this seemed like a dream come true, and unfortunately, that's how she treated her money. She quickly purchased a house worth about $250,000, excited to be getting out of her foster home. Then she quickly squandered her winnings on breast augmentation surgeries, luxury sports cars, cocaine, and nights out with friends. After all that spending, she tried to take her own life in 2005, but her family luckily saved her. Her story had a happy ending though. In 2013, she said she'd never been happier with only £2,000 left and a healthy son. Number 10. Stuart Donnelly. Back in 1997, a £25 million jackpot was won by 12 people at the same time. One of the lucky winners was 17-year-old Stuart Donnelly, who took home the equivalent of about $2.6 million. That's a lot of money for a young boy to handle, and his spending quickly got out of hand. Still, He found money to donate to worthy causes. He gave money to the hospital where his brother was being treated for a genetic disorder. He also bought a secluded mansion for himself, his sick father, and his best friend, who was suffering from polio. It didn't help. His friend died only 2 years later, although he might have helped improve his quality of life. Supposedly, Stewart now lives alone in his huge mansion, shut off from the world. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to sell it since he burned through his money almost immediately. Number 9. Cricket Slick. 22-year-old Cricket Slick from Ontario reacted to her lottery win the way I probably would. When she went to scan her ticket and the machine told her she was now a multi-millionaire, she just didn't believe it. When she finally went home and checked the winning numbers, she couldn't ignore it anymore. Her win was a total of $3.5 million. Incredible. How would you react in Cricket's position? Let us know in the comments, and keep watching for even bigger wins. Number 8. Ayanthe Fullagar. Ayanthe Fullagar from England was just 18 and working as a waitress for the equivalent of $6.50 an hour when she unexpectedly won a staggering £7 million jackpot. It's just as much as it sounds, about $9.2 million today. Despite her young age, she spent that money really wisely. Instead of throwing away all the money on luxuries, she invested it and now has even more money than her win gave her. In 2010, she was named the 27th richest person in the UK. Number 7. Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll is one of the most notorious lottery winners in history. He was only 19 years old from Norfolk, England, when he won one of the biggest jackpots a young person ever got their hands on, £9 million, or $12.8 million today. He quickly threw it all away on mansions, luxury cars, women, and more drugs than anyone should have. When that didn't make him happy, he started destroying all his fancy cars and demolition derbies he hosted in his garden. After 2 arrests and a blackmail incident, he'd lost all the cash he had left. These days, he works as a garbage collector. Are you ready to meet the biggest winners? You'll never guess the size of the jackpot that the young person won in our number 1 spot. Keep watching to find out. Number 6. Sandeep Singh. Sandeep Singh was only 22 when he won his millions, but his young age didn't mean he wasn't responsible. He was working 2 jobs to support his family when he won $4 on the lottery. He decided to spend his measly winnings on some quick pick lottery tickets. Good choice. One of them won the jackpot. He had to share the winnings, but still went away with a mind-blowing $30 million. He spent it really wisely. He paid off his mother's mortgage, gave some to charity, and set some aside for his family. He was also adamant that he'd use a little more to complete a bachelor's degree in business. We could all learn a thing or two from him. Number 5. Jonathan J. Vargas. When he won the U.S. Powerball jackpot, Jonathan J. Vargas was just 19 and working as a construction worker, giving him more money than most of us can even visualize. Overnight, he had plumped up his bank account with $35.3 million. He tried to strike a balance between living large and investing on a female wrestling show called WrestleLicious, but it didn't pay off. These days, he's apparently flat broke. The all-female wrestling TV show probably wasn't the best investment. Number 4. Matt Topham and Casey Carrington. Matt Topham and Casey Carrington were childhood sweethearts from England, but there's nothing ordinary about them. They were just 22 years old when they became some of the youngest Euro Millions winners ever, scooping up a ginormous £45 million prize, or roughly about $59.4 million. They said about spending their money on mansions, cars, lavish gifts for friends, and expensive holidays. Their wedding must have been luxurious. They also had a child, but not all their investments worked out. They were not allowed to build the eco house they wanted. Sadly, their 7-bedroom mansion is now a hotbed of criminal activity since they abandoned it. Number 3. Kelsey Zahau. Most people would tell you never to buy a lottery ticket on Friday the 13th, but for 20-year-old Kelsey Zahau, it was anything but unlikely. It nearly didn't go her way though. She totally forgot to check her winning ticket. Finally, 11 days later, she had a look at her forgotten ticket and realized she'd won $66 million. Most people would have spent it on a life of luxury, but beside a house and a few cars, Kelsey said a large portion of her winnings would go to college funds for her son, her boyfriend's daughter, and her little brother. That's definitely a worthy cause. Number 2. Shane Missler. Shane Missler is one of the newest winners on this list. He recently became the sole winner of a Mega Millions jackpot totaling $451 million. That's a staggering amount of money for anyone to win, let alone someone who's just 20 years old. He's taken a course in financial management. He said that even though he's going to have some fun with his new wealth, he's not going to follow in the footsteps of those who threw their winnings away. Good luck, Shane. And number 1. Manuel Franco. In 2019, Manuel Franco from Milwaukee became not just the biggest winner on our list, he's actually one of the largest jackpot winners in the history of lottery winners. You're not going to believe this, but his win came to a massive total of $768.4 million. I know, it's more money than any of us can spend, and there's no word on how Manuel Franco has chosen to use it yet, but I can only imagine he's not going through any financial troubles at the moment.